Hello and welcome back to the For the Badge podcast. We got a regular episode for you. I've been enjoying the World Cup videos, but here is another match week review. And what a match week gone by it was. London is red. All right, of course, where else do we start but Chelsea versus Arsenal? And what can you say? Arsenal were totally dominant in this one from start to finish. We had all the energy. We definitely showed up for the derby. It was a huge win, huge performance from Willie Saliba. We'll start there. Definitely has man of the match performance for me. His partnership in there with Gabriel has become absolutely incredible. Gabriel was winning all the headers. Partey and Xhaka were winning all of the second balls. Willie Saliba put Kai Havertz in his pocket, and Yachty goes missing. Aubameyang doesn't even touch the ball 10 times and manages to get himself a yellow. Nothing personal, Yachty. London is red, my friend. Willie Saliba. I mean, how much praise can we heap onto this man? He is just an absolute stalwart back there. Uh, had it on lockdown this whole game. Just every single time they got near him, he won the ball. He maybe got a toe poke in. Maybe was able to uh, get the ball, let the man get past him, but not the ball. He just shut it down completely back there, and you love to see it. I mean, right now for me, he's the best defender in the league. He's got the performances to back it up, and I think that he was able to shut down pretty much everything Chelsea were doing. The only times they really had any joy was with the long diagonal. They win the second ball and they get down the wings, but Havertz just didn't look up enough, didn't have the quality to find the right pass. And other than that, we were completely dominant. Pretty sure the scoreline is definitely misleading. Could have been 2-3. Um, Gabby Jesus, again, what a wonderful performance. I don't mind that he doesn't score. Obviously, misses an incredible chance off the back of just wonderful play. We had maybe three or four one-touch passes to get it out of the back to beat the press, and all day the ball through the lines was working perfectly. I felt like Mason Mount and Conor Gallagher didn't really get the rotation there in the center attack in midfield space. Didn't really get it right. I noticed that it seemed like Loftus-Cheek was trying to man mark Granit Xhaka, and so the space in between the lines was there. I felt like Jorginho kind of got swallowed by the game, as he does, just because of our work rate in there. Odegaard was popping up in those little pockets, finding the space in the channels, and we were crisp. We were energetic. The passing was strong. It just looked like, I mean, honestly, it's a typical Arsenal performance this season, and it's wonderful to be able to say that. Um, I don't think we were as strong as we could have been in front of goal, and that definitely has been a bit of, if there's any criticism to be had for this Arsenal team this season, that would definitely be it. But other than that, in this game, from Ramsdale all the way to the front, guys, it was an absolute lockdown performance, wonderful performance. And to be able to do this away to another Big Six side is something that we haven't seen in a long time for the Gunners. That makes it 3 of 4. We've won 3 of 4 Big Six games, and 2 of those were away from home. One we won away from home. One we did lose to Manchester United, but beat Spurs at home, beat Liverpool at home. Those are massive victories, and it shows in the table, shows in the statistics. We've now got the best joint best defense in the league. We've, I think maybe only City have scored more goals than us. So all over the pitch, we're just looking magnificent right now. I honestly think the World Cup is kind of coming at the wrong time for us. I guess you could say that for literally everyone. The World Cup is just at the wrong time, but that's for another video. Um, Yes, I think Jesus should have scored twice, but I also think the contribution that he gives with his energy, with his drive, with his running at people, it just causes so many issues. And the people around him, he's definitely leading from the line. So Saka and Martinelli and Odegaard are all taking, their cues from him, taking energy, from him, so that they're backing him up. If he's given that much, we got to give that much, and you can see it's a real team spirit. Um, you love to see them all running to the corner flag. We don't really know whose goal it was, whether it was Saka's or it was Gabriel's or whose official goal it was, but I definitely loved seeing Saliba during the celebration with just running towards the sideline like this, hands in the air. It was beautiful to see. I obviously was absolutely pumped. But I think that our dominance in the midfield, once again, Partey and Xhaka just locked down in there. It's incredible the way Thomas Partey is playing, the way Granit Xhaka is playing, and I'm praying, I'm praying to the gods of soccer that that no one gets injured, that no one gets injured in the tournament. Um, That's the thing. So many of our players are so important to their national team. Thomas Partey for Ghana is going to be have to be huge for Ghana to have success. Granit Xhaka with Switzerland again going to have to be huge to have success. So we're really hoping that we can avoid injuries in Qatar, and that everyone can come back nice and healthy. That's going to be very important moving forward. Uh, Hopefully we can take care of business next Saturday, I should say, versus Wolves, and in the come to the break on top of the table. We've definitely shown that we can challenge at the top of the league. I think that this result for me beforehand, I was kind of back and forth on whether we could actually go all the way. With this performance, I definitely think we have what it takes. The pieces are there. I think one or two buys in January could be huge for us as some backup. Getting Emil Smith Rowe back in January is going to be massive. It's going to be like a brand new signing. That's going to be really, really good for our depth in the midfield there. I think that's an area we're definitely lacking. The drop off from Martin Odegaard to Fabio Vieira is a lot. It's ridiculous. And even though Vieira had a good game, he's had one good game this season away to Bodo. If I'm not, or maybe it was the home game versus Bodo. Other than that, I've not been impressed, and it definitely shows that we do lack some depth in that center of the midfield. Again, the drop off from Thomas Partey, he's just so good. We're just a different side without Thomas Partey in there, and it shows every time we've had to play without him. But if we can keep everyone healthy, the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka, if we can keep Ben White healthy, if we can keep Gabriel healthy, if Willie Saliba stays healthy, I mean it's we definitely have what it takes to go all the way. Man City are definitely going to push. Their consistency is just out of this world. And so we have to show more than them. Right now, it's in our hands. I know it's a long way to go, but, keep on winning. We keep on winning, and we'll be there in the end. We'll have a shot. London is red. We're at the top. We're here to stay. Definitely think it's a performance that shows that maybe the tide is shifting. Liverpool are really, really struggling this season, and we've been super consistent over the entirety of this season. I know we haven't quite, it's not the same as saying, oh, we're on top at Christmas because they've played 5 or 6 less games than that. But I think as of right now, everything's looking up, everything's looking good, and as long as we can stay healthy, keep up the consistency, I think we have a real shot at a title challenge this season. Now, it's interesting to note that maybe again we don't have the depth to challenge across all of these tournaments. And so we do play in the Carabao Cup tomorrow versus Brighton. I think it's going to be interesting to see just how much of a weakened team we play. If we do, in fact, play a weakened team, I personally hope we do. And that, of course, I hope we get the win, but I won't be too miffed if we don't. I understand that there's a lot. Adds at least three fixtures in January if we continue to go through in the EFL Cup. And you definitely want to win trophies, but we also, I think, should focus on the Premier League, should focus on the Europa League, because we lack that depth. And so I think that if we could pull some from the academies, some of the real young kids, get some people some playing time. I think the likes of Eddie and Nketiah, Vieira again would be great, and then some Marquinhos we need to see. Mo El Nini would get some time in this one. I think would be good for him. But yeah, all in all, it's a great time to be an Arsenal fan. What can I say? Uh, you know, that game was awesome. It was a massive performance, and we're back on top. Speaking of the team that everyone's thinking we're challenging or might be challenging, Manchester City had a crazy game versus Fulham. Uh, I definitely thought that on the balance of the game, maybe Fulham deserved more, but in the end, I thought it was a soft red for Cancelo. I thought that, you know, I guess by the letter of the law, it's a soft shove in the back, but maybe he stepped on him as well. Denial of a goal scoring opportunity. These buzzwords kind of thrown around. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this one. And beforehand, City were dominant. City were all over him, and it was looking like it could be a rough day, especially without Mitrovic. Fulham without Mitrovic are just, I've said it before, they're just a shadow, complete shadow of the team that they are. And honestly, I thought City were lucky. I thought City were going to be frustrated. Um, just a stupid foul. Just a stupid penalty at the end. Just a horrible, horrible thing to give up at the end of this game. Completely erases 90 minutes of good work from the midfield, from the defenders, and you hate to see it from Anthony Robinson, the American who will definitely be on the plane to Qatar. Let's hope he gets all those out of the way before we play Wales in just a couple weeks' time. But other than that, yeah, I thought that, once the red card brings it down to 11v10, I kind of thought it evened the game out, honestly. It's crazy to think that City could, challenge at least for top four if they played every game down a man. It's nuts. It's nuts to say that, to think that, but I mean, it seems true because they gave Fulham all they could handle, down a man, and took advantage of some dumb play. Took advantage of a bonehead move. De Bruyne feels any kind of contact there, he's going down, and so that's what happened. Holland, interestingly enough, takes the penalty. I thought that was interesting that De Bruyne didn't step up to that, but results the same. Goes in the back of the net. City march on. I think possibly the craziest game this weekend, and it's not hard to make that statement, was down at Ellen Road. What a topsy turvy, back and forth, absolute for the badge, love of the game kind of match this one was. Jesse Marsh gets booed at halftime. And then right after they come out and give another goal, it's 3-1 in like the 50th minute. Right, and all that after Leeds start out hot and get the penalty in the third minute. This game was crazy. I did think that it's very interesting that Bournemouth have continued to score goals, but they leak goals like they're being paid to leak goals. It's crazy. Their defending on corner kicks is atrocious. It's laughable how bad they are on corner kicks, and Leeds took advantage of that. I thought that every time I've watched Leeds, the stadium there looks insane. It just looks like an amazing atmosphere, and the fans, you know, once that second goal goes in, I remember I was watching Manchester City, and I saw on the little thing in the corner where it's showing the scores that Leeds had pulled one back, and it was 3-2. And I remember thinking, oh, all right, they can do this. They can do it. They can come back. And when I went back and watched the game, you can tell the mood kind of changes. The crowd starts to believe again, and the pressure builds. The pressure builds. Pressure builds, and they get that equalizer, and the place erupts. And because everybody there knows, they're thinking, "Oh, we got time. We got time. We can still do this. We can still get the winner." And that is exactly what they did. The hero at Anfield, Mr. Somerville himself, comes through again once more at home to give Leeds the 4-3 win. What a crazy game. It's just such a brilliant advert for this league and how entertaining this league is. When Leeds and Bournemouth play such a crazy match, ended up 4-3. I think it's a huge win for Jesse Marsh. It relieves a lot of the growing pressure that was starting to pop up there. Some of those recent results not going too well for Leeds, and I think this is awesome. Tyler Adams in the middle of this midfield for Leeds. It's so good to see him playing so well right before the World Cup. If it's me, if I'm Greg Berhalter, Tyler Adams has the armband for sure in Qatar. He's an absolute workhorse and a monster in there in the middle. Is one of my favorite kinds of players. Center defensive midfield that just gives his heart and soul for that badge. And we can only hope that he does that along with Brendan Aronson down in Qatar. Move on to Everton versus Leicester. This was this was I was a little bit shocked by this performance from Leicester City, especially away. I guess I was maybe even a little bit more surprised at Everton's performance. It looked comfortable for Leicester. They got their goals. Madison has a decent game. He still doesn't do enough for me. All this outcry of him making the plane to Qatar for England. Yeah, maybe he's a squad player. Maybe he's the last man on the team, the 23rd man on the spot. Could be. Doesn't do enough for me, but I think that this is disappointing for Frank Lampard's men. Too many mistakes in the midfield. Too many of their regular performers kind of didn't have their best game, and it showed, and it cost them. I really think this is a bad loss for Everton. Um, I think they were joint best defense or maybe second best defense going into this game, and they didn't play well. They just couldn't. They didn't bring the energy that Leicester has, and I think in this league, where some teams lack a little bit of quality, lack a little bit of momentum, haven't really had the results. They can really bring the fight, really bring the pressure, and that's what Leicester did, and they were able to get the 3 points. Surprisingly enough, good for them. Another very crazy game. I didn't actually get to watch the Brentford Forest game. I saw the highlights and a crazy own goal in the end to save the point for Forest. This one was nuts. I definitely thought that Brentford. Before the game, I thought Brentford should have enough. Brentford should be able to get their goals and be able to see this one out versus struggling Forest team, especially since last time out we annihilated them. And so this one was a bit of a surprise to me. I guess it just goes to show, like I was saying a couple videos ago, that home field advantage is so important. I guess Forest are going to be entertaining and dramatic, and they're going to scrape points at home, and then they're not going to be so great away from home. And I still don't think that's going to work out for them uh, in the long run, but it's certainly entertaining at this point. But on the other side of this game, what's happened to Brentford? What has happened to Brentford? They just every time I've expected, a little bit less each week from them because their performances have just gone down over the course of the season. They started really well, and it's gotten a little bit worse, a little bit worse. They can still score. They're still scoring goals, but I think they're just leaking too many goals. And to give away the points at the end like that is tough. That's so tough, especially amidst all the controversy. That's what do you say about that one? Just well done, Forest, coming back, getting their point. And Brentford continue to struggle. Speaking of struggles, Wolves at home still struggling. I figured they would, but Brighton get the 3-2 winner. What a game this was, as well. Red cards, penalty kicks, late winners. Oof. I didn't actually get to watch all of this one either. Saw the highlights. Um, Again, Ruben Neves for Wolves just comes up big. He's their best man, but he can't do everything. And Brighton are tough. Matoma is looking really good for them. He's had some good performances recently, and they do the business in the end. Get the away win. That's a good win for Brighton. Absolutely, they seem to be in the ascendancy. Seem to be on the up and up after beating Chelsea a couple weeks back. So yeah, that's you love to see it. Looks like Deserby's finally getting things going the way he wants, getting the team running the way they want, and 3-2 winners away from home. That's a big win for the goals, especially the manner in which they were able to get it, being down, um, having to come from behind. I guess they weren't down for too long, but my prediction was a Brighton win, and so in the whole second half, even though I was watching City live, the whole second half of that game, I was watching the little scorecard up in the corner, just praying Brighton would be able to smash another one, and they did, able to run out of Molineux 3-2 winners. All right, the other games on Sunday. Let's take a look here. We spoke about Arsenal, Chelsea. Manchester United goes to Aston Villa and gets absolutely wrecked. This one I did watch, and Villa were value for this win all over the pitch. Luca Digne with a ridiculous free kick. That was a fantastic free kick. Um, I just thought United got ripped apart in transition. Villa brought the energy. They brought the press. Um, They still gave United the ball a little bit, I thought, sat back a little bit, but their press was just too much. I think it surprised United a bit. Barnstormer of a start, up 2-0, 11 minutes into the game. I remember thinking that the performance before this was incredibly lackluster from Villa, but I definitely knew Unai Emery would come in and he would right the ship. I figured he would be able to. Uh, I didn't think he'd be able to, maybe have such a glaring performance right out of the rip, but I knew that it wouldn't be the same. I knew that he would switch up what was going on. The philosophy there is clearly going to change, and from my experience with Unai Emery, I definitely think that he's got the right attitude, he's got the right mentality, and honestly, it's Villa. I think Villa are going to improve a lot. over the course of this season under Unai Emery. I think he's a long-term man there, and this first result, while it may not be too indicative of how good they're going to be, I do think they're gonna improve a lot and move up the table a bit. On the other side of things, this was abysmal from United. Van de Beek was nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. Bruno Fernandes going down injured is tough. That's tough for them because I don't know who they got that can do that, especially if they're going to continue to deploy Ericsson in the kind of box to box role that he's been playing. Scott McTominay hasn't, when he's had his opportunities, he hasn't been as good as he maybe could have been. I think that this really highlights some of the issues United have, especially in transition. When on that second goal, or excuse me, on the third goal, there was just an overload in the counterattack. Van de Beek didn't track back. Uh, Ericsson tracked back, but he went with another midfield runner, and Casemiro had to slide over to try to double team, and that left Ramsey just by himself. Just by himself. It's just too much space in there in transition, and United got absolutely ripped apart. That's a good win for Villa. That's a good one. Good win for Villa for sure. They did let up a bit in the second half, had a more professional approach, but I thought they soaked up everything Man U had. Emery's influence already clear to see. Well done. I definitely think Villa are going to be way better in the future. Speaking of way, way better, Newcastle United up to third, scoring goals for fun. Look out. Look out, Premier League, because this team is here. This team, I definitely think they're challenging. They're going to challenge a lot of the big teams this season. We've already seen City go to St. James and not be able to get a win. We've already seen Newcastle beat Spurs. So, and they're just bad. They're just dumping goals on lesser opposition. This is away to Southampton, the same Southampton, the same stadium that took a point off of Arsenal. And Miggy Almiron and the boys go in there with a 4-1 thrashing. What can you say about Bruno Guimaraes too? He's just been magnificent in there in the middle. Almiron's got 8-9 goals this season. My man Joe Willett gets on the scoreboard. You love to see it. My former gunner getting the goal for the Toon Army. Chris Wood comes in, gets a goal. I mean, everything's going right for them right now. It's just everything's just going good for them. They're just they're so fast. They're so quick. They break so well. They're grooved. They're doing good, and I'm pretty sure Arsenal have to play Newcastle early on in January, and that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. They are gonna bring everything. It's gonna be a tough match. You don't want to see. I don't think anybody wants to see Newcastle right now. Chelsea have to go to St. James's Park, and that's not looking good for them. That's looking like a spicy, spicy matchup. And Chelsea better bring more than they brought versus Arsenal, or they'll be on the back of another loss going into the World Cup. It's not looking good. That game is going to be tough, tough for Graham Potter's men. I'll tell you right now because Newcastle are looking really, really good. I think that again, if everyone stays healthy for them, that they are definitely going to challenge at the top. Definitely going to challenge at the top. Um, right there going, fifth, fourth, maybe even, so it's they're gonna have to be stopped. They're not just gonna stop. They're gonna have to be stopped. And I think that if anyone didn't have this on the radar, they're gonna be really surprised this season because just like Arsenal are there to stay, I think Newcastle are here to stay as well. We'll move on to West Ham hosting Crystal Palace. And what's going on with West Ham? I I thought they were getting it back. I thought that they were, you know, a little bit resurgent after not a great start to the season, and I thought that they would be able to do better than they have been. Palace aren't great away from home, but the game started well for West Ham, got their goal, but maybe they let up a bit. But the mistake, you just can't make mistakes like that in Premier League. And Wilf Zaha he's gonna punish you. He's got it. He's that good. He's got it like that. And credit Patrick Vieira's men for pushing on. I think this is a huge away win. 94th minute winner. This is a big win for Patrick Vieira. I think again the pressure was starting to mount, but it's so amazing what in those moments what the 3 points can do for you, what one win can do, and I think that Palace again, at times I felt they've been a little bit unlucky this season. Also, at times I think that they could have been way better, could have brought more energy, could be more clinical in front of goal. But it just seems that when Zaha gets on the score sheet, and when he has a good game, leads from the front, uh, that Palace seem to do so much better. They seem to nick points, and this is a huge win. This is a huge win for Crystal Palace and definitely bolsters their away form, which has been poor, which is why I didn't expect this result at all. But hey, credit to them. 3 points, progress, march on. You love to see it for Patrick Vieira, as a former Arsenal man. So that's good for them. Yeah, great win. And then we move on to our final match of the weekend. What a match this was. I definitely thought that Spurs and Liverpool was typical. This typified both of their styles this season, both of kind of uh, the mood that both clubs are in. Kind of thought that it was very expected the way the match turned out, the way the match played. Same old for Spurs. We knew that. I don't know how many ways that we can say they're going to do the same thing every single game. Uh, maybe, just maybe, they can't defend as well as they think they can. The whole game plan seems to be conserve your energy and defend real tight and compact in the first half, and hopefully don't give any goals. That hasn't been going well for them, and they don't bother to change it up at all. And I know losing Son is horrifying. That's bad. That's really really bad. Putting so much pressure on Kane to do pretty much everything. Getting Kolachevsky back. Even you could see it when he come on in the second half, change game. Liverpool were under it at the end, definitely under it, and they were afraid to make the challenge on Kolachevsky. I think that he is massive for Spurs, massive, massive for Spurs. It's kind of player that can knit stuff together, hold the ball up, so that Kane doesn't have to do it all by himself. Kane's a monster. He's an absolute animal. You got to give him the credit. There's only Holland has scored more goals this season. He's pretty much Spurs' only hope of everything. I seem to remember Robin van Persie in the 11-12 season literally put Arsenal on his back and carried the team to fourth place that season with some just monster performances. And that might be what it takes for Spurs this season for Harry Kane just to say, you know what, we're gonna, we're gonna finish fourth. We're gonna make Champions League no matter what. I'm gonna make sure. He seems to be taking it personally sometimes, and the best do, the best do. He's a winner. Yeah, he's an absolute monster. I think he's gonna light it up at the World Cup. So I think he's gonna come back probably tired, like most, but I think he's gonna be so important for Spurs. As an Arsenal fan, you love to see this this same old. I figured Liverpool are good enough to get the 2 goals in the first half. I figured they would get at least two in the first half, and then maybe they ran out a little bit of steam I thought, and like everyone knew what happened, Spurs come out and pressed, had a lot of energy in the second half, and Kulichevsky came on, like I said, able to get a goal back, but that's the problem. Versus lesser teams, this strategy works because you can come back. I think it's like 6, 7 games they've gone down in the first half and had to make a comeback. Um, but against better teams, and Liverpool obviously haven't been as good this season, but they still are obviously one of the better teams in the league, and we're able to stand up and get this win. I thought that despite being under pressure in the end, Van Dijk had a good game. I thought that Trent had a good game offensively. He was doing some of the great work we love to see him do, or at least Liverpool fans love to see him do, but still kind of suspect defensively. He was definitely getting ran a little bit down the wings. Still kind of showing some of that same defensive frailty, but I definitely think he had a better game offensively. So this is kind of exactly what we expected, kind of exactly how I thought the game would go, and it did. I even predicted the score correctly, which isn't something I do very often. But yeah, at the end of the day, it just comes down to the fact that Kane can't carry this Spurs team forever, and Antonio Conte needs to either adjust his rigidity or I don't know. They definitely need They definitely need a creative type player in January. Somehow bring in some kind of creative midfield type player. Kane can't knit it up all the time by himself. Antonio Conte's got work to do. Well, that is the Premier League wrap up. You'd love to see it. Great time to be an Arsenal fan. We're on top. I think our win this weekend really, even though it was only 1 goal, dominant performance, a statement victory away to a London rival, a Big Six rival. And we're on top of the table. Progress, march on. This is the For the Badge podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Go ahead and click the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hope you're enjoying the World Cup videos. We got plenty more coming at you before the tournament gets started. I've definitely been enjoying those, so go ahead and check those out. Got a playlist going for you. Hit the little notification bell. You'll get that, that update when those World Cup videos come out. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Have a good night.